everyone, I am super excited for our live stream today. I have an amazing guest, Amanda, and we're going to be doing some awesome cool features on the LinkFree project, and hopefully you're all going to help as well. But before we get started, I'd like Amanda to give herself a shout out. So Amanda, tell us about yourself, what you're up to, and what sort of things do you do?
Yeah, hey everyone. I see a lot of familiar folks here in the chat. So I know many of you from being around in the EddieHub community, which is definitely my favorite way to spend my time, but I do have to make some money so I can live for, hi Christine. I do have to make a little bit of money to be able to afford my home and my food and things like that. So I do work as a developer advocate for Wix, and which is a really enjoyable experience. We have a lot of exciting things going on there, which you'll hear me talk about from time to time. But today, really excited to focus fully on LinkFree with Eddie. And I'm sure he's gonna get started telling you about what we're about to do here. I'm really excited. Something for Eddie to know too, and all of you here. This is a first for me in a lot of ways. I've been on some live streams, I've been on recordings and things like that. I have never coded live with somebody ever with something that I hadn't pre-prepared. So usually for a live stream, it's a feature that I'm really familiar with, and because I want to make sure that it goes well, and I want to show people how to do something and not get caught up with me, stumbling about through errors or anything. So this is a new experience for me. I've also never pair programmed in the same environment. It's just never come up for me in interviews or anything. I've never had to do it. So all these firsts for me. I'm very excited.
I am super excited. What Amanda probably doesn't know is we are going to get bugs, and everyone in the chat is going to help because I know they always help me. And Amanda's probably going to do most of the coding because it's late at night for me, so I'm kind of half asleep. And I got a busted flipper, as we say in England. So yes, no, I'm joking. We'll do it together. It should be fun. Just to shout out a few people in the chat. Chris, you were first, as always.
Chris is everywhere.
Yes, multiple accounts as well. Appreciate that. Hey, Mohammed, and I saw Emma as well. Emma, who's live streaming, I think in like 2 hours. Emma, yeah. Please share a link to your live stream in the chat. You should be a mod in my YouTube channel. If you're not, I know Chris is, who'll be able to share the link, and let me know, Emma, and we can fix that for next time. Awesome to have you here, Emma. Akshat, Shuraj, who else have I? Chrissy, and hopefully I haven't missed too many people. So today is going to be exciting. So I have shared Amanda's LinkFree link in the chat. Go drop her a follow on the various platforms. So today we're working on issue 7022, and I want to share that in the chat as well. So what does this mean? And we're going to have to maybe update the issue a little bit to maybe add some tasks for us of what we're going to work through. But the idea is we need an admin page to list the users, and therefore if someone says they've got a problem or something's not working, it can be debugged without going into the database. So we're going to keep it really simple for today, and we'll be able to add more and more to this page as we go on. So I thought one of the things that have come up since we've moved to the database recently, and we're moving to forms, which is in the test or the preview if you want to use the Vercel language. It's in there at the moment. So hopefully we'll go to production in the next few days. Amanda spotted some, I wouldn't say they're bugs. I was going to say, I wouldn't call them bugs, maybe improvement. They're bugs. So I'm working on those at the moment. That's my day for tomorrow. Yeah. So hopefully I can get those sorted. So thank you so much for testing that.
Yeah, you open yourself up to a lot more security issues when you let anybody fill out a form.
Yes, and I was so focused on just to get it working. I was like, the JSON files do this. I'll just mirror the JSON files. Anything else can come later. And then I was thinking, oh my God, Eddie, that is so rookie mistake. I've done part of that, and I've got to finish that off tomorrow. Yeah. So yes, a list of users. I think we can use this from Tailwind. This one looks quite nice. So we could see the profile picture of the user, maybe their name. We won't have an email. We could have I don't know, some piece of information about them. I don't know if the bio is needed, but we could see when their profile was last updated, maybe, and I know some other information. And the other one that I thought of before is, where is their profile coming from? Is it coming from the JSON file, or is it coming from the database, which we call the source property?
Oh,
so we could show
that one's new to me. I don't know that property yet, because I haven't worked on LinkFree in these big changes that we've had recently. So we always had the JSON files before, but yeah, I guess in the future we won't have all JSON.
Yes, and I'm thinking the JSON files will reduce as people switch to the forms, because when they start moving to the forms, the source field changes to database and then the file is ignored. It may still exist in the repo, and that's actually why on the admin page, it would be great actually to list what they're using. So if they're using database as their source, but also to show if they still got a file existing, because then someone, one of the maintainers can go and delete that file because it's no longer going to be used, right? As soon as they switch to using the forms, there's no switching back because they'll get a lot more features from the forms. So yes, so again, we can add that as we need to. And I think this page needs to be restricted just for admins.
Definitely.
And maybe the admins is managed by an environment variable. So I thought that is, rather than a config file, I thought an environment variable might be a bit better. And maybe we can see the totals, so we can see, who's got an active profile and who's not. So yes, and yeah, this is the code from the Tailwind component that we could potentially use. So that's my idea. I think it will grow. So I am thinking we start off with the fun stuff. I think we list the users first. Like, forget locking down the page. Anyone can access it for the moment. Exactly. Before the PR is merged, that could come in later.
Yeah. Well, because we have to have a way in dev for anyone that wants to work on this page to get access to it too, but still production be admins only. So there's a few different things going on there. So I would assume for this, and tell me if I'm wrong, that we can use the existing API that fuels the search page that can load all the profiles, right? But use it in a slightly different way.
I thought we could, and after working on the forms, because when you kind of go to the form page, I can quickly show that now, because I actually have that on my branch, which I'm gonna switch. I thought we could do that, but I actually can't, and I'll explain why. So if I go to my profile page, this is in what do you call it? A branch, everyone. So that's why you won't see this on production yet. But I originally loaded this data using the public one for search or just getting one profile. The downside is it doesn't have enough information because it has only the public information.
I see.
So for example, I think when I went to testimonials, it only showed the enable ones because it was showing the public ones and not the ones that are disabled, and I wanted to be able to toggle them on and off and so forth.
Okay, interesting.
So I think we will need to make a new API endpoint just for admins, where admin can see all the information for the profile, and we'll lock down that API for admin users only as well.
And then on this first page with the Tailwind component, we'd show a bit of that, and then I assume they would click into it to then expose more information that they need to actually work with.
Exactly, and I think Chrissy said the similar sort of thing. Yeah, click on the profile to go to the LinkFree profile, or to go to the admin view, or maybe there's just one view but more information is displayed. We need to have a think about how we do that. Maybe one component could load it in, and then if you're an admin, it gets populated with more data. Or something like that. We need to have a think and see how we get on.
But at first, we need to get it all.
Exactly. We just get started.
We're getting in the weeds. I love to get in the weeds. I love to think through all the scenarios.
Which is great.
It can stop you from getting started, which is terrible. But I'm pretty good at thinking about a lot of use cases.
No, I think it's really good having paired with you before on a live stream, but also, well, not on live stream. It was on I think a community call or something, and also in the maintainers chat. I think it's great because what I do is I jump straight in. I start coding. I get a certain way down and go, oh, but I've got this, and I have to come all the way back. I was like, oh, if only if I had just thought of that before. So no, I think it's.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, well, wait a minute. We need to think about what we're doing here. Because I was even thinking about from a security, since this will be a really kind of dangerous area because you're going to change people's profiles, like even security beyond the page. Like, do we need to have security on the API itself, on the page itself, then on the delete methods and things like that? Like, so there's several layers of security should anybody get past one of them. Obviously, that's way far down the line here. But I was like, this is going to be a dangerous feature because people can actually edit or delete somebody.
Exactly. So it's going to be very, very important. Just to give some shout outs, thank you for sharing the link, Emma, to Graham's channel, Twitch channel. We'll see you on there later on. Graham, also to have you here. And I see we have John as well. Krish, It hasn't been the auth. You can log in on production now, but you'll only get to see the statistics page, not statistics page. Oh, it's not good.
I nodded. I was like, yeah, that's right.
Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. You won't see this navigation, and it will look slightly different because it's not on live just yet. Will be soon. Hey, Misha, thanks for joining us, my cousin from Lebanon.
Oh, hi.
So yes, okay, let's get started. Right.
Yeah, let's get into it. Okay. So I guess I should move this to the side here so I can actually see.
And I have Amanda on my VS Code, so we will be seeing both of us code at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. So
organized here. Okay.
Where should we start? Should we start with the API first?
I mean, we can't do anything until we have data, right? So
yeah, let's maybe make a list. I'm just gonna make a to-do list, just right at the top. I think I have to make a list, otherwise I forget. So shall we say admin API user list, and then we can add more as we think of it. I'll just make notes. Right. Okay, so if everyone can see my screen, hopefully.
I always open that data folder by accident.
Yeah, it's like massive.
And it's like, oh no, why did I do that? You'll see me clicking around a lot because I never remember where things are because there's the API. Because I'm not in here as much as some of the other folks on this call are much more familiar with the structure than I am.
Well, I'm in here probably the most, and I'm probably the worst because I have the terrible memory. So I'm always trying to find my way around.
Should I be able to see? I want to make sure this is actually working correctly. I'm joined.
You should be able to follow.
Do I click on? Am I here? Am I in here?
You are here. Let me see. If we go to where is it? Live share. It says you're following me.
I am. So I'm in here.
But I haven't opened the file yet. Let me open the file and see if it works. So what I'm thinking, we've got an account folder where people manage their account. Maybe we need an admin folder so we know everything in there is.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if this works for you.
Okay, and I'll see if I see it when you make it. It says I'm following you, but
I probably haven't made a file. So let me make a file. We'll call it users.js. So hopefully you see that.
Oh yeah. Oh cool.
Okay.
This is new for me, so I'm just fascinated. This is probably very normal for other people. Like very, very delighted by this.
It works pretty good. It does.
Cool.
So yeah, it works pretty good. Hey Praduma, how you doing?
Oh, Praduma's here. Hi.
So let me think. Right, API. I've even forgotten an API.
So now, since you did something similar, and I know it's not in this branch. I assume you made a branch for this already, right?
Oh my God! No,
are we working in main, so Eddie?
No, I'm working in forms. I don't want to make this PR any bigger. Let me just commit those changes and make a new branch. Thank you. So I'm glad you're awake. This is perfect. So
I've had 1.5 cups of coffee. I don't know how long they'll last, but for now we're good. The brain is here.
So let me do links validation on model. Let me just commit this.
I was thinking though, from that branch in the forms, if you've already, I'm a huge fan of not starting from scratch. So if you've already created an API that might work as a starting place for this, since you had to get more, I didn't know if it would work as a kind of a boilerplate that we could then adjust, or if there isn't anything really that exists that's like what we need.
I don't think there is, because in the branch I'm in, it's from one single person's point of view. So unfortunately, the search API and the profile API are both just slightly different, but we can cool. We can make it work. So I don't need to push that. That's fine. Let me switch back to main, and you're right. Good spot. Okay, let me just do a pull. Make sure we've got all the latest stuff in main.
It's from experience of starting working in some place I shouldn't, and then having to fix everything.
And then let me do a checkout to, what should we call this? We'll call it the issue number, I think.
Yeah, that's a good
7022. Feature issue 7022. Okay, we're here, and I think we're good now. So now if I do a status, we should see that file I just created, which is empty. I can't type. Lost the finger. There we go. Perfect. So all is good. This file is here.
All right.
it's in the new branch.
Okay.
Perfect. Right.
All right. So
let me see what I missed in the chat. Nothing too much, hopefully. Everyone's chatting and so forth. No force push. I never force push ever.
no,
So,
don't. Yeah. If you have to force push, something's probably really wrong.
Exactly. Okay, so am I coding or are you coding, Amanda? What should we do first?
Let's say you should start with the API. Like I said, for me, API work
Okay.
is a little bit harder for me. I don't do that kind of work as much. I started from the front end and making things pretty, so APIs are not my strong suit, but I'm good at starting with
No
a
problem.
place and reading it and knowing where to extend it. So that's why I was
No
looking through the other
problem.
ones.
Yeah, sounds good.
I know we
I
need
think
to
it's a good
import Mongo.
idea. Well, to be honest, I just copy and paste from like another file is what I usually do. I'm a copy and paste developer and then I tweak it. So
Yeah.
I think between us, it's pretty good. And you can do the front end.
Absolutely.
I do not like the front end stuff. So yeah, so let me see what have we got. Not much actually as I thought in this branch. I think this one gets the list of users. So
Yes.
it does get users, which actually it should be get profiles. So here we go. We've got some green squares coming for people who need some green squares. Write green squares in the chat. If someone could log a bug, we are trying to be consistent with our naming, and everything should be about profile, not a user, because a user is different, because in the future there'll be multiple profiles per user. So I'm going to paste a path to this file in the chat, and if someone could, raise an issue and say the function in the file that I've pasted in the chat should be get profiles with not users. I'm not going to change that now, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to be really bad, and I'm going to probably just copy that file and just to save time. I can copy the contents of it actually.
Yeah, I think would have to do, find for all, figure out all of the maps the files that still have the word user in them, and then work on each of them individually. Because we also have there's a get user API over here in another file, and
yes.
So, but yes, I was thinking get users was what we would need to start with, but you're saying that that's not going to give us enough information.
It will only be the public information, and we want to include more. So what we'll do is there's the handle function which picks up the API call. And we'll say we'll only accept get, otherwise we'll return a 400. And then the function is directly underneath. So I'm going to rename this to get profiles, and then I'm going to rename the one below. So options, I don't think we're going to need any options. So I'm going to delete that as we go through. We are going to connect to Mongo. We are going to get a collection of profiles. So that all works well. On cards, I'm going to remove, I think, I see there's fields. Right, because that search was used for different places and it was trying to reduce the information. To be honest, I'm going to think we're going to need everything. So I'm going to delete the kind of the fields that we would select from Mongo. And I would
we can filter in the front end what we want to see on each page instead.
Exactly. I think we're going to use more and more from that as well later on. So in fact, we don't want to, if a name will always exist, that is a rule that we have. And is it enabled? So again, for the search and the map and so forth, is the profile enabled to display it? But for the admin page, we want it to just display everything.
So now we would we don't want it to load all of the profiles though, right? So if you're going in as an admin, you're searching for something, right? You're searching for,
that's true.
I think you actually do want to, I would think you wouldn't have anything on page load. It would be a search.
That is true. Or you might want to filter. You might want to say, get me all the people that have disabled their accounts.
Yeah. So you would start with a like a fuzzy search like we have for the search page. Maybe search by tags, search by other kind. I don't know what filters admins will need yet, but I would think you'd put all your intents in, and then it would give you back something, because there wouldn't be a scenario where you would want all of that data loading.
That is true. That's a good point. So for simplicity now, again, taking a few shortcuts, what about if we load everything, but then limit it to say 10 users? Therefore, we can do a bit of front end and a bit of back end maybe at the same time. So
and
we
then
can
add the
tweak this
filters as
later.
another issue after that. Like then you can filter
Exactly.
down. Okay.
I
It
think
also, then
so.
there'll be some data on the page so no one would ever be like, oh, why is this broken? Which is
Yes,
how, if you don't see
true,
data,
true,
you might have that feeling like, oh man, is something wrong?
true. I'm just seeing, hey Carl, how you doing? I know I've missed lots of stuff in
Oh.
the chat. Hey, Praduma says green squares. Praduma is the only one who wants green squares. Okay, let me see. And the question is, issue, should it be bug? User should be admin. No, it should be
No, yeah.
the file that I shared. It should be, instead of get users for the function name, it should be get profiles, because we're not getting the users, we're getting the profiles.
Yeah, basically updating references. So it's not really a bug, it's an update to the references where users are in the repository to update those to be profiles. And then of course testing to make sure that nothing broke. I like what Graham is saying here is that maybe we need to really make sure that we know like the end goal of the admin panel. And I know pagination. See, I guess, yeah, I don't even know if we would need pagination, but maybe, I guess, yeah, and that depends then on what Graham was saying for the first question is what's the likely use case for admin here? And I would think you're going to work on one profile at a time.
Yes.
And if you're looking for a profile, you know enough about the user or the profile.
You'd know the username or the
You'd have to know enough to pull.
search.
Yeah. So Catalan,
but then the actions, I think hey Catalan, how you doing? I think the actions would be like enable, disable. So we might toggle in the future. We would want to, someone might say, hey, look, the testimonial's not showing on my profile, and then we need to be able to go in and say, well, you haven't enabled that. But again, for today, I think maybe enable and disable the user is the goal we should aim for. Okay. And admin can do that.
Yeah, and we'll
sorry, go on.
Sorry. So yeah, enable to disable for today. So like a little toggle of some sort. So then that's another thing we have to think about is if we start to allow like CRUD CRUD kind of things to happen to this data, like what does delete actually do in the database? Is it truly deleting it, or is it like, setting it from 1 to 0 and like it's still there and could be recovered by someone, but it's, deleted from LinkFree? So that's something, this is another future thought, is does delete delete?
I think we need both. I think we need if someone wants their profile turned off or on, an admin can do that. But if someone says, hey, look, I want all my data gone,
I want everything out.
That with a check saying, are you sure? Type in their username, just make sure it's the right person. And it just goes deletes all their stats and all their everything as well.
That's true. Okay. Other things to think about in the future. I'm coming up with just more work. I'm just going to come up with more work while you code.
This is great. I think and also the other idea was if we're going to have like a report button on a profile, because when we move to forms, they won't go via a pull request. So if someone reports a profile for being inappropriate or something like that, then admin needs to be able to kind of just disable that, not change anything, but maybe disable it, and we'll have the email address on GitHub. So yes. So yeah, there's some thought around that. But today, I think if we can display maybe what source they're using, and if they've got both sources, if they're using a database, then have they got a file as well? And therefore later on an admin could go and delete their file because it's no longer being used. They're using the forms and so forth.
And then eventually you get the option as a LinkFree user to delete yourself if you don't want to be there. And then you don't have to ask an admin for anything.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. GDPR, yes.
I know. I'm not as familiar with GDPR being here in the US. We're a little more willy-nilly with people's data here.
Hey Pedro. So would an admin look at other users' profile? Yes, this is the whole point. This is you can look at anyone's profile at the moment by using the search, but you just get the public information. But an admin needs to see a little bit more. Like what happens if the user says, hey, my stats aren't increasing, and we can say, hey, but you've got 1,000 views today. So they can just feed back a bit more information because stats are private to the user. So things like that, just so we get a bit more information on it. So yes.
it'll be good for if someone comes maybe into Discord and is like, oh, there's something wrong with my statistics or something wrong with this or that. And it's not something that we could see, but so they're passing screenshots. This allows an admin to go in and like actually see the problem and hopefully be able to apply some kind of a fix to it or advise better to the person trying to fix it themselves.
Exactly. Or, sometimes people have said, oh, my link isn't working, but then they haven't got like HTTP, in front of it. So or then it's like they've missed off a letter at the end, or the space, it's like space.com. We've seen it. So that's a bit easier to see because it's all public on their profile, but there are some things that are not always public. I'm trying to remember how to limit the data. So we've got profiles coming out. I'm trying to think how we
for Mongo
limit.
This would be a
for Mongoose, yeah.
Oh, Mongoose.
I think it's just this.
It's probably just limit. I'd have to look it up truly, but and I can do that.
Let's just test it.
Why not? Limit makes sense to me.
It does, right? So let's test it out. So if we go,
there is a limit method. So I think so far you're good.
Okay, that sounds good. So if we go to, and then we'll put this on the front end as well. So if we go to API / and our path was just admin and then profiles. So admin and then profiles. Perfect. And I think we've got 10. I mean, if I use Chrome, it would look a bit better. It will be formatted. So let me just bring Chrome over.
I can't see that, but I do see data returning, so that looks promising.
I mean, it looks good, right? So here we go. So it's formatted in Chrome. Ooh, and there's another issue. Someone can do is, well, they could make a pull request to our branch, which we haven't pushed yet, but they could maybe add a middleware function, which everything in the admin folder is protected. So rather than every API having something like, I don't think there's one in this one, but in the account one, which we'll improve later, we say if they're not the owner, then I'm not logged in and not the owner, kick them out. Yeah. But in admin, rather than putting that in every API, because we're going to have quite a few API calls, we can just have one thing. Everything in this folder is logged down for this type of user, and then it just makes it a lot easier and cleaner. But that's looking good, right? So we've got the location, we've got data. All this information. We have the usual public data, but we also have the private data, which is enabled and views and updated at. So we can also see when their profile was updated at. So someone says, I can't update my profile, it's a week out of date. We can say, well, it was updated 5 minutes ago as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't even actually realize we had that data.
That's very new. Cool. That came in a few days ago. So someone added it to every single model. Now will have created at, but this one doesn't have it because it was created before we put that feature in.
Yeah, so we don't know.
But they'll all have updated at, which is
that's a great addition. Cool.
So let me see. Are we missing anything in the chat? I'm terrible at multitasking.
What do we do?
Yes, we'll put validation in the forms. Oh, sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
Oh, I was reading Chrissy's issue add a middleware function. I'm not sure what that's for. Unless that was in response to something we were doing. Will the delete all my data button?
Yes, it will. The user will be able to do that on their account, and that's something that can. That's another issue someone can raise. So someone could raise an issue saying the user. So this is not for admin. So the user to be able to just delete everything from their account.
So you would log into your account. Sense. Yeah, and then.
Yeah, and just say delete, and you just everything just goes, like statistics, everything.
Yeah, and make sure it has a like similar to GitHub, where it's like, do you really want to delete this repo? You have to physically type in your name or something, so you can't accidentally just blow yourself up.
Yes, imagine just hit the button and do all your statistics. Yes, so we'll need like a you sure sort of type in your username and so forth. The middleware function from Chrissy mentioned was for the admin folder. So yes, that will have to be done after or as part of this branch and pull request. But it could be done separate, right? Someone could make a pull request to our pull request, and then it could become part of that. Let's have a look. What else? Okay, I don't think I've missed. Let's have a look.
Graham is thinking that we should add a created at to everything for when we start using this, because otherwise you have to check for nulls or check for the existence of that field.
Yes, so there is a created in the model, but it only gets populated when the document's created. But because these were created before that was added, some of them don't have it yet.
We
But
can make
yes,
it all
we could.
one day.
We could say if it's a null, then just add now or something, or add like a month ago or something. So that is a possibility. We'll see how we get on. Cool. Thanks, Chrissy, for writing it down in the chat so people can get some green squares. Awesome. Yes, so we'll have to probably just update maybe all of them that don't have a date, a created date. Maybe just put something in, and we'll know that was like not false, but not.
And you can always put a little note in the UI or something, so that if anybody's looking at it and they see that and they're like, "Oh, that's not right," there's a note explaining why the date is what it is. Yes. We love faking things, Graham.
So we've got data. I mean, this is pretty good, right? This is
this is. I mean, this is great to get started with. Like, it doesn't. First is just getting it moving, right?
Yes, exactly.
So then we need.
I think that's really good.
We need a page. The page would be behind authentication. Where do we put those for now?
So it'll be under pages.
Well, we wouldn't want to put it under account. So maybe an admin folder here too.
Yeah, I think I tried to match up you're right. Are you gonna create that? I'll let you create it. So yes, I think an admin folder under pages, and then maybe call it profiles as well.
Admin, where did it go? Here, and then new file, profiles. Sure, profiles. JS.
And then I should be able to follow you actually, and we can see what you're up to. Let me see.
So then, you can't see what I'm up to right now. That's better. No, it's better for me. No.
No pressure. No pressure.
So okay. So for me, I guess we first need to figure out. So what's the wrappers for these? We need to import the layouts first, right?
To be honest, I would just copy it from another file. So
I love that. Which file? What's the closest?
Yeah, good question. Maybe would search like kind of be the well, even it's just you want the wrapper, like you said, really.
Well, okay. So I mean, we'll probably need most of these things, right? Except for we don't need user card, and we don't need an alert. So what do we actually need here? We need the page.
Probably the simplest thing. I'm just trying to think. Maybe there's a simpler one.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Is playground simpler? Oh no. Or maybe no.
No, I don't like this one.
Icons is really simple. I think copy icons, and then we'll empty everything out in the body, and then
rabbit.
Here we go. And while you're doing that, I'm going to answer some questions in the chat. Pedro, great question. We are considering moving to TypeScript. I do love TypeScript. The downside is it makes it more difficult for people to contribute. But as the project grows, it will help us reduce bugs and things like Graham was talking about, all these extra checks and so forth. So,
what's this? What is this alert? We don't need alert, right? What is this alert thing?
And if we do, we'll add it back in. So yeah, throw everything we don't need, check it all.
We don't need any of this. We don't need any.
Here, let me leave page head though.
Page and page head I have. Let me get rid of.
Let me follow you. 1 second.
Hold on.
I lost the follow.
Oh, you're good.
Here we go.
I'm creeping around in here. I don't want to delete the here. Let me do this. We don't need any of this stuff in icons, and we'll rename that function in a moment. See, the problem when I start doing this, and you'll have to keep an eye on me, when I start from an existing page, and I do this too. I copy, because like, why start from scratch if you don't have to? Is I start deleting, and I delete it, and then all of a sudden there's a mismatch in my brackets somewhere, and it's impossible to find.
True.
So let's see. We'll call this. Profiles.
I always forget to rename these, so that's perfect that you've done that. I always forget that.
All right, and then it's whatever. For now, we'll just be like, I'm just going to say profiles.
Yeah, it's going to be an admin page, so it's not so important.
Yeah,
exactly.
Admin profile page. We can change that later. And obviously, everything in the inside this page is absolutely.
I think.
Changing.
Yeah.
Just get rid of all of it.
Get rid of all of it. Exactly.
All right, but we have a page. Now we need to import this API, right? Import the API next. I would assume we have no data in here right now.
Oh, that's a good point.
What am I called? What is the API called?
Good point. Let me have a look. So it will be get profiles.
Get like lowercase get?
Would it? Yes.
I'm looking at it.
I don't think we'll have a name conflict because won't import the other get profile. So it might be, we might have to rename it later. I don't know what people think in the chat. Would it be like kind of get profiles for admin? I don't know. We'll keep it as get profiles for now. Okay. But just to, some thoughts on that. Cool. And then we'll need the whole, where is it?
We need Tailwind or...
Oh, that's the API, my mistake. Yes, we'll need the Tailwind. I have put that in the issue.
Ticket. Yeah, let me just grab... Oh, well, we don't need all these people. There's a people...
No, I would just leave maybe one just to see the result on the page. And then
good call. And then we can swap it out with our thing. Okay, exactly. Let me grab... Okay. I have great technical language, y'all. So if I say anything weird, just remind me that I'm speaking in thing and stuff and that. I'm terrible with language. All right, these are the profiles from the Tailwind component for testing purposes. And then I'm going to grab what's in that return function.
Oh, wait a second. Let me switch back to you. Where are you? Here we go.
I'm copying things from the issue right now. So in the return function, let's I'm gonna... Oh, I guess we would put ours inside of the page. Let's do that. See if that works out for me.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, and then we have one other little thing that is needed for the demo that we can decide if we like it or not later. But that little import for, use state. Did I do that? Oh, no, I was like, yes, that's all right. That's right. I didn't put that in there.
No, that was there from before. So you
that was there. That was there from the copy. Do we need state? We probably need effect. We need all kinds of things.
I would chuck it.
Chuck it? We don't need... Oh, you don't have to put that in there anymore? That's right.
We would probably need it later, but we can always bring it back. So I'd chuck it for now.
Okay. All right. So is this...
Should we save and see how it
looks? Let's see. This should run, right? Why, when I click save... Oh, there it goes. I was saying when I save, it didn't save.
It might not save. So if I keep this API open...
Okay.
So I'm going to open
go to
the browser.
See if we made something.
Let's see. Do we have an error or does it work? Let's see. We have an error. Oh, why is that there? That's it.
Can't resolve. File system.
That might be me switching branches and then not restarting the app. It sometimes happens.
Okay.
So bear with me. Let me restart the app. For some reason, I've got it on the other screen. I just need to find it.
Krish, I'm writing down this extension that you're talking about. Colorized brackets.
Oh, it's really good. I use it actually.
I don't know if I have that in my local or not. Or I guess anything that I have in local is it's using that right now, isn't it? In this, so yeah, I don't have that.
I don't know on how it would work. Interesting. We do have the error. Cannot resolve FS.
FS is usually like. It's making me think of file system, but I don't. We're not using that anywhere. Where's FS?
We haven't used that. Hold on. That's interesting.
Does it say it's in the profiles page? I didn't look real quick.
Oh no, sorry. Let me bring the error over. There we go. Let me try and make it bigger.
Okay, no results for FS in the profiles page.
No, I didn't think we haven't used that. So that's a strange one.
Oh, it's a built-in feature of VS Code. Well, thanks. I guess I have to look through this. Then cannot resolve module.
That's
error.
not a good start. So why do we?
That's a node. It's saying node module. It's a node module error.
It could also be because switch branch. Let me do an npm install as well.
Great. Every time something's wrong, I just stop everything and try to redo npm. Yeah. It's like the unplug and plug it back in of.
It's true,
of
especially when you're switching branches so often, and you might have a different dependencies and things might be added and removed and stuff. So let me stop that.
How does this environment work? Like, are we using Docker right now and everything too, or like maybe does there need to be a build or?
Everything is local. So I'm using Docker for Mongo only, but then I'm just using Node on my Mac as well.
Okay.
Let's have a look in the chat. Graham's coming up with accessibilities. The user list, the unordered list needs a role. We do not need the role list. If someone wants a green square, that's a quick win once you find it. Okay, interesting. Good. It's always good to have accessibility experts on the chat as you're building, because building with accessibility in mind is better than having to go back and chase things down. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's try and start this
All
again.
right. But
And
we're not even
hopefully
past node modules here, so this is remedial.
it's like so weird to get that error, but again, I think it's
That is a weird one.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
NextJS.
We're not even using that. That is so weird. I think there's more information on here. Oh no, there isn't.
Is it? Let me.
What have we done?
Okay. Is it something about the way I imported the profiles?
That's very odd.
API. Wait
a second. Let me remove this first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It might be.
Yes. We're gonna remove that.
I might have.
Just in case.
I might have done that incorrectly. I let it auto.
Rebuild.
Yeah, that's what it was, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's worked.
Okay, so I imported that module wrong. That was on me. This is what happens when you let autocomplete tell you what to do sometimes, because I auto-completed the import and clearly it's wrong. Oh, every day, Pedro, every day. I realize how little I know. All right, so, but the out-of-the-box Tailwind component, accessibility issues aside, does work, which is a positive thing. So now let's see how the API module import should actually look, and maybe that will help me.
Yes, so I think we need to, let me, if I remember correctly, if we do, so I'm going to remove you've got all the users here, so I'm going to just delete leave one, but delete the others.
Leave one, for just that, until we have another.
So we can see the layout and we can then change, because I don't think we're going to have role, we're going to change some of this information.
Yeah, all of this, a lot of this is going to change to what ours is, our object.
Yes, exactly. So we'll leave that for now. And then what I might do, just so I don't forget, I'm going to move that into the function. And it doesn't matter, but just the way my brain kind of works is I have the get server-side props at the top, and then I have the kind of the React function.
I have no ego about how the code is structured. And I don't know how many of you would know this, but working for Wix, I don't currently work in React every day. So I always assume that I don't have the latest information. I look up everything when I work in React and Next right now, because I just work in it so intermittently, that it's always good to double check my own. And I lean on people who work on it every single day as the experts, and always double check my knowledge. So I have no ego about where the code goes.
I'm learning from the community all the time. Like, everyone's super, awesome and helpful.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice to be able to work in some different technology than I do every day by being a part of this community. I learn so much from everyone. Marino.
Okay, so
hi, Marino.
Hey, Marino, how you doing?
All right, where are we? I'm looking at the stream. I could be looking at the code. I'm in here with you. I'm like squinting at the little screen here. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I'm going to try and ditch a lot of the stuff we don't need here. So I don't think we need a log for that. Let's get rid of that. So, and we don't need this either, actually. I probably should wrap a try-catch around that. But again, I'll do that later. I just want to keep it short.
What's this get profiles API?
So that I just renamed.
Oh, you just renamed it.
API in it because we always put API in it, and maybe I didn't in the other one. So
no, that makes sense.
Partly my fault. So let me see, and then we're just going to pass data, and that shouldn't be profile. That will be, let me see, what do we call it? Oh, we did call it profiles. Okay, with an S.
Profiles.
So profiles with an S, which makes sense. Profiles with an S. And I don't think we'll leave that for now. We actually might need that. Okay, so what I suggest is
we're still not importing the data yet, though.
Oh yes, good point. Thank you. So let me see if I can get the autocomplete.
We're actually getting this data yet.
It's still interesting enough. It still did it that way. I think it should work. I'm trying to think. Does it do it from the root?
I'm thinking that must be wrong. What's another? I look to other examples always if it's an existing
it's from the pages folder, not sorry. So the pages folder is the root,
So it
not
needs
the.
so dot
It
here.
doesn't need that. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it doesn't like. I knew it had to be with the import statement. I just had to look at another example to see why it hated it.
And then we're going to need some checks in here again. We'll do this later on, but I can put as a to-do, but we'll do check is admin. To do check is admin.
We'll also have, and this will be another to do, is if you log into the account and you are admin, you get this navigation button to get to this.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, very good point. So what I was thinking, if we put a console log, and we're going to have data come in here. I don't know if I just call it profiles, but it's kind of like I've used data in too many places. I think
it's kind of like using X for everything.
Or yes. So some renaming.
Descriptive variables.
Yeah, exactly. So if we can just check it all appears in the front end. And let's have a look.
Make sure that they're coming through. Module not found again.
What have I broken? What have I broken?
It still doesn't like that module import. What's going on here? Why doesn't it like that?
API admin profiles. Is it because I renamed something? Let me just check. If I click on it, does it find it? Wait a second.
Ooh,
oh, no, it doesn't find it.
It doesn't find the file. What's going on?
API.
Admin I know it's saved. Profiles. It's green. So.
And then it's export async function. That should work. Get profiles API. What am I missing? I'm going to check the chat in a minute, and it's going to be someone's going to say, "Hey, that typo already," or something.
Somebody must know.
Let me see. Yeah, I don't use var. That's something I don't use anymore. So that is good.
Yeah.
Did I go the wrong way? Let me see.
It didn't like pages.
You went to the base. I was copying from the other file, but everyone's pointing something out. So let me have a look. I'm going to open this one again. So this is in the different directory. Yes, this is in the root. You're right. Okay, I did. I was saying I had the right answer, but actually I had the wrong answer. I need to go up one more. So it would be, okay, I think that's it.
All right. Yay! Oh, hey!
Thank you. Awesome. Okay.
Right. I knew someone would know what silly mistake we were making with this import. All right.
So client.
Okay, now it doesn't.
Yeah, that's not specified. No, that's correct. And I'm going to remove that. We can add that later.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get into that. Now it's for like environment variables and stuff, but we'll not worry about that now. We didn't. Okay, now what have we got?
Undefined cannot be serialized.
Okay. Okay, I'll tell you what, I've got an idea. Let me remove this console log and then put it just up here. And let's just see if we're getting profiles there. Let's have a look. Dot profiles returned from get seller admin undefined. Okay, so apparently it's undefined, but we know
it's returning
over here.
Right.
I refreshed the page just now, so the API is working. So why
is it returning
this when I call this function? We connect to Mongo and we find 20. Yeah, it should be the same thing. It's got an await. It's async. What have I missed? I'm gonna check chat, and someone else is probably.
Yeah, I'm having trouble here as well. Profiles.
Nope. Okay, no one's had the answer yet. Okay, no one's beaten us to it, so there's still time for us to repeat ourselves.
All right. So hold on. The error again was that it's coming back undefined. We're importing it. We're calling it. We know that the API works. Status profiles undefined.
Profiles. So it does come back as profiles. What have I missed? And then we just check the API. It comes as an array. That's fine.
Return.
Missed something.
Let me look at something.
It's not calling the API. It's calling this function. So that's the more efficient way to do it. I learned that from Dan. So it is returning that. I think that should work. Let me check the chat again. Let me see. I think it should automatically, if I check the other example, so I see Pedro suggesting stringify. I think
it already has stringify. Oh,
yeah.
The other APIs, we do use that. But the other thing, maybe we need to set, I wonder if it's, I know in the users, we return in the stringify like a status and the get profile, and we set it to profile, but I don't know why that would matter.
Yes. No,
Maybe we need
right.
to do that.
I've done that wrong. Yes, that's my fault because it's not in it's at the
like profile,
the root. Yes.
kind of this,
So that's
and then
my mistake.
Status. Do we need a status? Oh wait, what did I do here wrong? It doesn't like that. Oh, no, I need to.
Yeah, I think you're.
Do I need to do this?
I think you're good. Yeah, you're right. So we need that as well.
Do I need to surround it? Profile, and then also, do we need the status?
I would put the status as 200, and then I'll put a try catching it later and
need to be a string.
errors
No,
later.
it doesn't need to be a string.
No, it can be a number, I think. Yeah.
No, it doesn't like that. Hold on, I've got
good.
something on here. Oh, it's giving me a little.
Well, mine looks okay.
Hold on, what did I do?
It looks fine.
Oh, it is? What is it? It's giving me a little error when I. Do you see what I've done here? It gives me a little error that I do that.
No, it looks fine on mine.
So weird. So for me, I have a bit of an error, and I don't know. Oh, now I don't. It's just maybe it just lags. It must just lag so much.
Maybe. So
anyway,
therefore we've got that. So that looks good. And so I think if we just check the other one, just so we're not a million miles off. When we call it, let me see. Yeah, we return the status and then profile. So we have that. So let's go back to the API, and rather than saying const profiles, so that's actually an improvement to that page that we probably need to make where we copied it from. I think it was the icons page, maybe. No, it couldn't have been.
Icons page. I deleted like everything out of that we brought over from that pretty much.
Yeah, so that page that we brought it over from probably needs a refactor, was my point. So if we can remember, I'll have to go back to the live stream and see which file we used, and that probably
we used icons. I'll make a little note. Icons needs some help.
Thank you. So if anyone wants to get involved in open source, needs a bit of a refactor to be consistent. So have a look at maybe like search or another page where or this page where you see status and profiles and the in the API, and there's two functions. There's the handler, and then there's the actual function that does the work. And the reason for that is in get server-side props, you don't have to make an API request. You can just make a JavaScript kind of import call, but you still want the API to exist if you need that for anything else. So in theory now...
How's it work?
No, wait a second. It doesn't work yet.
It didn't work? Oh, I thought you hadn't refreshed yet or something.
I had, but wait a second. Let me see. So we're returning... Let me just double check the other one. How did it do it at the end? I didn't take a proper look. It is, yeah. It's pass stringify and then status and then the data is a profile. So that should work. Oh, profile.
Wait a minute. It's profiles. It needs to be something else, doesn't it? Profiles.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, it worked.
There we go.
Okay, so it didn't work. It's not broken. Let's just get a profile displaying.
Oh, okay. That's it. We're done, everybody.
Admin page is done. So what I was thinking was we've got profiles, which they call people, but we'll change that. So what I'm thinking is,
what am I doing? There we go.
If we go profiles, actually, let me think. Yeah, I spelled profiles wrong. Profiles. So I'm thinking we'll keep this people for now because I want to see the structure.
Just change it to profiles, right?
I think just we change the name or something, just so we see everything else will repeat, but we can just see we get a list of 10 or whatever.
I don't know.
So
we'll see. Hold on.
That will be profile, and then is there a name? Yeah, there's name. Profile name.
Yeah, they've got name, email, role, image.
Oh, I need to change person because that's not gonna exist. Well, it exists, but it won't exist in this context. So
profiles.map profile. Yeah, every place you change to .profile, so that would have to be profile as well.
Yeah, but it's not going to find it because we don't have an email field. I wanted to use the placeholder.
Should we create our data object here then? Maybe it's like what we know we're going to have. Like rename these buddies. Or not worth it.
Yeah, we will do that. I was trying to do a step before, but maybe
Okay.
that
Oh,
wasn't
I see what you
such a
mean.
good idea. I was like, step before, great idea. It makes it easier. Maybe it makes it.
I think you're going to get a little bit
harder.
of an error here then, right? Since we did profiles.map to profile, and that profiles right now does have an email in it. So I change this.
Bear with me for 1 second. I've got a crazy idea. Okay, I think this is going to work. Everyone just like hold your breath. It shouldn't take any longer than that, I think. Okay, let's just see. So we create an object called, not people, because that's a bad word. People, okay, just, and it should be person because it's one, but just, because then this will now, if I put this back to, I think it was,
no, this has,
it was person,
if you're,
sorry.
so this is what we're mapping. So you need to change this to people.
No, keep that the same.
Keep that.
I've got
okay.
I've got something crazy.
All right, never mind.
Crazy. So I think my idea is if we map over all the profiles and the only one that will change is the name and everything else will just be this one person we have hard coded at the top. So we can see if it shows a list, but only the name will change.
Oh, okay.
So that was my thinking. So yeah, so we got 10 people and the name changes. That's what I wanted to kind of see, that the data was going from the API.
I see what you did.
Now we do your step. So hopefully
I love it.
Kind of
oh.
Okay, I'm gonna let Amanda drive now because I've really confused the situation. Let me follow.
Yeah, I had no idea what you were doing. I did not follow you down that rabbit hole. So we have our profiles mapping. So okay, what I need to know then, and maybe I can pull this up.
I think Eddie's gonna break something.
No, one of us is definitely breaking things. So profiles, map to profile. So then we need to say, what I need to know, actually, can you go back to the visual, to the front end visual quickly?
Oh, yes.
Because what I need to know first to map properly and to decide on what we need is, so we have the name, well, the name you just did. So we know we have a name that we want to show. We know we want to show their image. So we need to replace that, right? What do we want to show under the name? No, go back. Oh, I'm writing down all the because once I get into the code, I don't have object reference anymore. So under the name, we wouldn't put an email there. What would we want there? Their bio or their tags?
I don't know. What do we have? Useful? Let's have a look.
Yeah, what are our options?
Oh, we definitely want a source, but I don't know if that's the right place to put it. I don't know.
Source. We can put anything anywhere for now. So, okay, go back to the UI again. How many other little bits do we have to start with? We can always change it. On the other side, we have last seen would be last updated, right? We definitely want that.
Yes, last updated for sure. Yeah, exactly.
What would we want for this co-founder CEO thing? Let's let everybody be co-founder CEO.
What would we want
for now? What do you want to shove in there for now? Views or
maybe, views. Yeah, views is a good one.
Let's do views. All right. So for now, we'll now go back to the code here, and we're going to map all of these things that are. Okay, so we have the name already. You did that. The email was falling under the name before. Email, we're now going to put as source. So we would do profile.source here, right?
I'm seeing like so much help in the chat. Sorry, I missed it. I can see like everyone saying, let me see, like loads of fixes. Are you importing, Carl says, are you importing FS client side? I've done that before, but not in this situation. Okay, and then Emma on line 28, you probably want to return profiles with an S. Yes, Emma spotted it before we did.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry, Emma, I missed the chat.
What's the name of the image object? Is it just image or GitHub image or what do we call it?
Let me just check. There might not even be one. I might have to construct it. And if we do construct it, I wonder if we do it on the API. Yes, so we use the username and we construct a URL for the image to use the magic GitHub URL. So we could do it in the UI or we could do it in the API. I think maybe.
Okay, so for now,
API might be better.
Yeah.
Do you want me to add it to the API? I can add it to the API.
Yeah, because then we just have it coming through and it's simple.
Exactly. So what I will do is, Copilot is definitely helping me out. Let me see.
Love Copilot. Copilot's so good in an existing repository because it has all that context.
Yes.
It's not very useful if you're building from scratch.
True.
But I love using it in existing repositories.
So what do we call it? Maybe, is it avatar?
Sure, I like it. Profile to avatar.
That's not quite right, Copilot, but that's not bad. Good effort. So it would be the magic URL is github.com.
Oh, right. And then it's like their
Yes.
username. But I remember this from the map now. This is coming. It's shaking out of my brain. There's a little bit of dust.
Yes. I wonder if we do that on the map. If we do it in the API or the front
on the map, I think we do it in the UI, but I haven't touched the map in a bit. I know Dan's been making some improvements there.
I need that. That would be better, I think.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep replacing things here and hope for the best. So I've got profile.source, profile.avatar.
Okay, let's follow you again.
You already did profile.name.
Follow participant.
Profile. Let's do this. Any place that's email. I'm replacing the source right now. Role was the CEO thing. I'm replacing that right now with the, what did we say? I'm going to put views in there.
Oh, yes.
Last seen is last update. Is it just called last updated in the object?
I think it is, let me check. I think it's updated at with a capital A.
Okay, hold on. Profile.updated at. I talk out loud to myself even when I'm alone, you all, just so you know. All right, where else?
That's the best way.
Oh, last seen date time. Well, we don't have that, so we're just going to go with and see what happens. Profile.updated. Nope. Okay. This is probably all wrong, but sometimes it's almost easier to put it in and then see what the error is and go from there.
Exactly.
Do we have anything else to replace in here right now? Okay, not yet. All right. Run it and see what happened. See what we have to fix. We absolutely.
What does everyone think? Out of 10, is it going to work first time or not?
No.
I'm thinking like a 6 or a 7 because it never works first time.
At least one error.
Let's have a look. Oh my God, it actually worked. There's no error. What? It actually worked.
No, okay, but it didn't completely work because I put views above last seen and there's nothing there. So there's just no data, but that's probably because it's not
error.
It's probably and then this other thing, why does it all say file? What's that?
That's because they're not using the form. So most people will be files.
Oh, file makes sense here. Okay.
Sorry. So we would have to do a little map to convert it to make more sense. But yes, so it would be file or database. So
I'm so excited by this. Okay.
We could use an icon or something maybe to show it.
What it means. Oh yeah, little icons would be nice.
Yeah. But you're right, views didn't come through, so that's interesting. So
that might be because that area wasn't expecting a number, and maybe views is a number and not a string.
It is a number.
Where is that? Profile person. I don't know. It's not expecting.
It should be okay.
Is it just views? Profile.views? Is that a thing in the object?
Oh, it's person. I bet you.
Person. I didn't update one of the persons.
Chris says 10 out of 10, awesome. This looks awesome. This looks awesome, awful. Oh, no, Graham says this looks awful. An awful lot. Like, okay, I didn't read the rest of the sentence. Definitely need context, like tabular data. Yeah, it is in the table section on Tailwind. So yes, this would be like the searching for the users and filtering and stuff. Graham has that faith. Last updated, what do we say at the moment? Last seen, yes, you're right. Chris, it should be last.
Oh, good call. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Chrissy. Okay, and so I don't know what this is, but we don't need an online. I don't remember. I don't know what is this?
Yeah, it's in a condition. I think if last updated, what's the condition? If there isn't. If it got an updated at, then it's going to show the date. Otherwise, it's going to show online.
But we're always going to have an updated at, right? So we don't actually need a condition there. We just might not always have a created at, but we're not using that right now. So this.
Yes, but I do like the idea of this online looking thing to use that for something else.
So just leave.
I wonder if we remove the condition but leave the code. So my thinking is if we ditch this line and ditch this line,
yes,
and ditch this line, we should have the last updated and everyone's online.
Everyone's on. Oh, cute.
I thought the green thing could be used for something else. I don't know. I just think
maybe it's cute. We'd have to feel like if there's a reason for it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, we're gonna find a reason. We're gonna make something up. So 27. Why have they all got the same views? That's interesting. Oh, it is
No,
my local
look down
database.
25, 24, 20. Like
Okay.
but we do want to add some context to that, right? So right now it's just a number.
True.
I'm trying to find where that was. Profile.source, where am I? Name, source, views. So, okay, so I added a little.
Looks good.
Something to start with. Where's this? This date is hideous. So updated we need to wrap it in. Oh man, do we have anything imported for making dates nice looking already before I start doing something silly here? Because we have dates elsewhere.
We do have dates elsewhere, so I'm not sure. Let me have a quick search and see. Exclude the data folder, yes, please. What file is this?
International
Event
date
card.
time format. I know we do dates.
We probably need.
We're just using JavaScripty things. We're not using a library or anything like that.
But we should probably move this out later on.
Yeah, if we're gonna start duplicating, modifying dates, I feel like we should just have like a little helper somewhere.
Yes, I think a helper that we can then, if we want to update the format, just update it everywhere.
So maybe leave that alone for now, so we're not making duplicate code, and we'll just let it be ugly. It's an admin page, so it doesn't need to be like, facing the world in a nice, beautiful thing.
That's true.
Okay. So what else? What else do we need for now?
If I go back to the profile, I don't think we need location. Username would be useful, so maybe I don't know if we put that in brackets after the name. So we can just see, because it doesn't always match as well.
Profile.name. So profile.name is in a oh, okay. So that profile.name right now is actually a link. It just doesn't look like a link, which is bad. But we don't actually need it to. Do we need it to be linked?
It depends if we have like a more details page for that user potentially.
Eventually. So right now, just like leave it. So, but then outside of that link, then we would need the what is it? Person dot
profile dot
profile. Oh my goodness, profile person. Profile dot username. Is that what you said?
Yeah, dot username.
So, and this is the GitHub username.
Yes, it would be the GitHub username. That's correct.
And we would see what that looks like now. I feel like we might need to build out maybe better. Obviously, I
think if it's put maybe bracket around it or something, or
like something, or
something like that.
GitHub.
And while you're doing that, I'll just check the chat. Res1 says, for production SaaS product, TypeScript is better. Like JavaScript's not a good idea. JavaScript's been used for decades. It's pretty good, but you're right. TypeScript is better. It's something we are considering.
It's a balance with a community project. You want to make sure that anybody coming from any stage of their development journey can jump in here and feel like they can learn and provide value. And TypeScript does have a really high learning curve, especially for someone new. So it can be a bit more limiting as far as being open to all levels of community. But you are correct for the reasons for wanting TypeScript.
It's finding that balance.
Yeah, for a community-based project, it is a hard balance. You don't want to do anything that is kind of a gatekeeper to have people feel like they can't come in and provide value right away.
Yes, and to answer Krish's question, it won't be assigned to one person. I think if we do it, it would probably be at the same time we do the redesign potentially, and I think we'd need lots of people to get involved. I'll probably set aside like a month where I'm just going to be sharing my screen on Discord for an entire month, and if people want to come and pair and help and migrate other things, then we all just.
I want to limit Krish to one battle at a time, because the last battle I think I saw from you, Krish, was really wanting to move to Prisma.
Oh yes, that's true. That's true.
One battle at a time, sir.
But I think no. If we migrate to TypeScript, you're right. You can do it quickly, and because JavaScript would still work. But I would put TypeScript in strict mode. So therefore, we would need to put types across everything. So it would practically be a rewrite, and we could use a newer version of NextJS, because you're going to get conflicts, right? As soon as you rename it to .ts, Git would see it as a different file, so you would get conflicts with other people. So if you're going to get conflicts with other people, you want it to be as quick as possible, but also you might as well make full-on changes. And I would want the benefit of TypeScript, which would make it like, you know, in strict mode. But then again, it increases the barrier to entry, so it's just something to think about.
I see a good point that Pedro just brought up, is that we have components. So the reason that it's an Anchor link right now is we copy pasted the Tailwind component from Tailwind UI to start. But you're right, we do need to swap out anything that we have a component for. So we do need to import the link component. That's a great point. And there might be some other things in here that we have components for. I'm not sure. I know we switched to a lot of things being in components, and I assume there's probably even more coming.
There will be more coming. I definitely want to break that down a lot more. But yeah, there is link component that we have, which is great. So everything looks like a link. And then
why am I not getting autocomplete? Where's link?
Yeah, I don't think you will, maybe because you're in my VS Code.
I'm really upset about this. I mean, I have to go find it. Unless you know where link is.
I do know where it is. So it's
at components,
I think it's going to be
just link.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I can't live without autocomplete anymore.
Yeah.
We get really used
I'm the same.
Tools. So we do have a link component, and we want to use it.
Let me get back to following you as well.
And then I guess we would put that here, right?
Yes, we did move to Vercel, and that was definitely a big win.
That was I think so I think there's some, it's just a balance for everything, and figuring out like what are the pros and cons for each big change, like for the argument for or against Prisma or for or against TypeScript. Like you always have to weigh all these things, because there's no one perfect answer for every single project. Let's see.
That's true. So
what
the link and then the href will be slightly different.
Oh, not like that, Amanda. Goodness gracious. What does link take? Just an href?
Just href, and then it would be / the username. For now, that would go to their profile. It will go to an admin page later, but we don't have that.
Wait, / the name? I'm doing something completely wrong. Oh, because I was like, what does it not like about me? / the profile.username? I'm doing something wrong.
Yes, that's correct. I need the backticks, I think.
Backticks.
The /
Yes.
I did that earlier today. That's why I was like hot on it, because
no, it still hates me. Because I did this.
And the closing link maybe.
But then hold on.
Yeah, I think we just need the close link. That's all.
The close link is I closed it here, but I don't have to. I self-closed it. But where do we actually want it?
Oh no, sorry, not self-close it. So I'm just going to change that. It needs
down
the closing.
Yes, so that's still clickable, and then it's above.
I think so. Let's find out.
Let's find out.
I can't remember. Yes, so now it's blue, and it kind of looks like ours. Although I can't see a hover. We need to fix that maybe potentially.
It's
GitHub username.
And we'll I think perhaps the GitHub username would be nicer on a second line and things like that. But obviously UI, let's make sure everything. The other thing I was thinking of, I don't know how far we want to get today.
What time is it? Oh, we've got about 10 minutes left.
Okay, so we probably shouldn't start anything else crazy, unless you want to keep going without me, which you can.
No, I need your help. I mean, I'm making mistakes all the time. I want to get worse.
No, this is good.
My evening goes on.
So, okay. So we've got that. GitHub username, we should move that at some point, but that's okay. Should we put in anything? I don't know if there's Tailwind components for this. Right now, it's an admin page that just loads users. Do we want to bring over any of the components, like bring over the search, bring over, I don't know if tags are useful. Or if that's going to be too big of a lift for this moment, and maybe that should be broken out into a separate issue. Or can we lock down this page? Is that hard? Or like add an environment variable? I'm trying to think how to wrap up the page is loading data.
The page is loading data, which is good. And I like your idea of having it to wrap up. Well, we could put a search box at the top, but it wouldn't do anything.
Right.
So let me think. Trying to think, what is the other thing we need on the admin page? So we know if they're using a file or a database. Again, interesting. That's a link.
It's probably wrapped up, right? We just need to.
The whole thing is a link. Okay.
Yeah. The HTML needs a little help. We need to assess it for, it needs to be assessed for accessibility. Like Graham brought up already some things that he noticed. And then, yeah, just make this look a little bit nicer and organized. I'm thinking GitHub username would be nice underneath of that. Their name, True. GitHub username is like a little subheading there, maybe. Online, we need to hide because it's not useful right now, but we don't want to get rid of it in case it has a use in the future.
I've got an idea for online, which we could do right now.
What?
If it's enabled or not. So we could.
Ooh, oh, that's great.
If it's enabled, it's green, and we'll say enabled rather than online. And then
I love that.
And then if it's not, they can maybe make it red. And
I love that. And then that's a really quick way to see
exactly.
what's going on. And I wonder, while you're starting that, so I'm thinking about it being a functional and not just a signal, because once we get to the next part, you might be able to click that as though it were a little button, the little green. Like if it's green and you need to disable it, you click and then it has like a confirming pop-up and then it switches to red.
Sure.
Maybe, not yet. So that you're not making a whole extra interface. But yeah, I think it's a cute little thing. Where are we?
So let's, here we go. Am I doing it or do you want to do it?
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'm trying to see, where are we? Okay.
Let me unfollow you because it keeps jumping around once again.
Oh, because that's right.
Yeah, I was sort of right and the screen's going up and down. But usually when you start typing, it stops the unfollow. So I duplicated it and you're saying enabled and I'm saying disabled.
Yeah.
And then my thinking was we have the profile dot is enabled and then show that one.
Yep.
And then otherwise show the other one. But the thing is, we need to change the color of the other one to be probably like red or something.
Yeah, this is emerald, so red. I don't know if BG red is a thing, but we can work that out later too to make it nicer.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, we also have to consider with this, and this is a thing that will come. Light mode, dark mode.
Yes, I need to do that with all the forms, I think, as well. Yeah. I want to need someone's help with that as well. So, okay, we've got, why is it still online there? I duplicated too many. My bad. Let me do that one. I got overexcited. Right, that did not work.
Where's
why
disabled?
Is everybody enabled?
Enabled and disabled, because you didn't actually put the rest of the statement in. You didn't put the or.
Yes, okay. So let's prove that it works. I'm going to take this user. Watch an easy one I can spell, so I can do this one. Oh, I can't copy it. Amolx 1920. Remember that. Let me go into my local DB and just disable their profile, and we can just see if it works. Is that right?
AMALKS. Yeah, 920.
Okay. So if this is just local, by the way, everyone. So don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Your profiles are safe from all of our mistakes here.
Exactly. So I'm going to change that to source again to see something different, and I'm going to say enabled false and update. And then if we refresh this, yes. And then it says it says source. Oh, I changed it to source. I meant to change it to database. A bit silly on me. Getting too late for me in the day, I think.
Yeah. Oh, this is so exciting. That makes me want to keep working, and I have to stop because I have some things that I must do today. But this is the thing about making something new and starting to kind of see it come out. And then you just want to kind of work on it all day.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
So
cool.
There we go. So we've got one profile that's disabled. So awesome. Let me catch up with the chat. Amanda, you've been awesome. Thank you so much. We should do this more often.
This was fun. I was terrified. I've never pair programmed. I've never coded sight unseen. Like I made sure to not start working on any ideas I had about how to do this. So I was like, let's do this completely raw. ARIA labeled by, I'm not the accessibility.
Sorry about the
no, you're good.
Yes, I'm not the accessibility expert, but there will definitely be improvements to that. I'm not a huge fan of ternaries. I find it more easier to read two if conditions, unless you actually need it to fall into the other one. So I find ternaries much harder to read, especially when they're in line.
I only like ternaries when it's like a single line ternary. When it's chunks of code that you're rendering, I agree with Eddie that it gets a little hard to read. And what Emma said about the accessibility, you don't really need ARIA labeled by, except in certain situations that Emma or Graham could speak in much more detail for. But you don't always need that.
So yeah, I think that's a pretty good achievement for
I do
today.
too.
And
then we have to keep
Christy
working.
says, "Good for
Oh,
you
thank
also."
you. Christine
So,
is the best cheerleader. She is fantastic.
thank you everyone for
Thank
supporting
you.
us. I think in an hour and 20 minutes,
It's
we've
not
got
bad.
something working end to end, which is a good start. I think it's a great foundation. What I can do is I can push this up to a branch,
Yeah.
and then someone else can keep working on it, or I can get onto it after I finish the forms. So close on that. So yes,
Yeah,
a big
keep me
shout out
updated.
to.
I'm a bit out of pocket this weekend after this stream, but I would love to keep working on this too. It's so exciting. It's an exciting new feature. So if anybody wants to fumble through code with me, I'd be happy to pair with anybody else if you need any assistance or just need, I don't know, comedy in your life.
That'd be awesome. I mean, I plan to do more pairing sessions on Discord as well. I think as a live stream, people are typing, but they can't chat, voice chat. So whereas I want to unlock some audio video channels in EddieHub Discord, so they can actually just voice it out. It's a lot quicker rather than us getting stuck, eventually fixing it slowly, and then realize that someone else has already 5 minutes ago kind of given the answer in chat. So yes. Live streams are great, but also I think Discord audio does make it a lot easier. And yes, Emma says join Graham
gosh.
and Emma in an hour for accessibility of $1million.dev.
Absolutely. Everyone who can join that.
Yes, it's going to be late for me, past my bedtime, so I will have to catch up on that tomorrow. But Emma, do share, or Graham won't be able to. I don't think he's a mod on my channel, but Emma, I'm pretty sure you are. Do share the link to Graham's Twitch as well.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for your support. Yeah, awesome. Do go and watch the stream later on. And thanks everyone for joining. And if you want more green squares, we have loads in EddieHub as well. As
I was taking notes, so if you start a discussion about this page or something, I can add my notes to it as well in case we missed a few issues. So I'll come back and check it later.
Awesome. Maybe edit as a comment in the issue.
Okay. Yeah. Go back to the main issue.
I can share this in the chat, and I will. I'll push up what we got so far, and then that way, people can have a look at it and leave comments and suggestions and stuff. But I'll make it in draft so people know that it's not the final one.
Yes, it's not ready yet.
Here we go. Emma has shared the link. Awesome. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you're having a good weekend and actually getting a break as well as coding. And big shout out to Amanda. And I just want to share your LinkFree as well, so people can find all your links as well. LinkedIn and Twitter and Blue Sky.
I'm everywhere.
All the things. Perfect. Not YouTube yet, so we just need to encourage you to get onto doing a YouTube channel.
Video's overwhelming for me, but I'll get to it at some point.
There's a lot of work on the editing side as well.
Yes, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I have to just get started. I think I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and so when I look at it, it takes me hours to edit and things.
Yes, editing does take a while, but you can maybe start with some shorter videos. I think that was how I got started. I did like 2-minute videos.
That's a good idea.
Although I recorded like 20 minutes, and by the time I removed all my errors, it came out like 2 minutes. Yes. Thank you all for your support. Really appreciate it. Right.
Thanks.
Amanda, if you've got a few minutes to stay on, I'd love to thank you personally afterwards. Otherwise, everyone, have a great weekend, and we'll see you in EddieHub.
Bye. Thank you all.
Bye.